Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode on the 5 Minute Bark podcast. I'm your host, Michael, and today we have on Robb Braun, who is a leadership coach and is the founder of the Leadership Source. Welcome on, Robb. How you doing?
I'm excellent, Michael. Michael, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. It's a pleasure. So I wanted to start off with how you really got into leadership coaching in the first place and your background and what kind of led you to where you're at today.
You got it. Well, it certainly wasn't what I thought I'd be doing in life. And what happened for me, honestly, is where the bug really came was when I was in the military. And I was willing to follow good leaders. I was willing to follow good leadership. And what I discovered was there were some people that I was willing to, and some that there was something missing. Like they were missing our hearts, they were missing our souls. And yeah, we had to follow directions, but we weren't following the leaders. We were following directions. And after having that experience in the military, I just started asking myself, what was it about some of these leaders that they had people wanting to follow them, and why were the others not? And that began the inquisitive part.
Right. And then from that, were you a bit of a leader yourself in the military, or were you mostly looking at leaders up to you and kind of seeing what worked and didn't work there?
Well, actually, I'll be honest with you, man. I was a crappy follower. I got myself into a lot of trouble. And the interesting thing about that was that leaders that recognized that in me, they didn't give me a hard time. I mean, they really didn't. They just saw that I was someone that took initiative, and it was easy to be that kind of person to take initiative. And I wouldn't say that I was necessarily a leader either, because I was still kind of stumbling through that and still trying to figure out, how to exercise authority without coming across as an authoritarian, and how to actually create followership. So even though I was in positions, some stuff worked, some didn't, but I was still trying to sort that out.
Right. And so with your leadership coaching, are you helping entrepreneurs, business owners, really everybody across the board, even someone, in the corporate field who's just a manager?
Honestly, yeah, and across the board. And I've worked with seasoned leaders and CEO and high senior level positions. I love working with aspiring leaders, those that have just been promoted to a new position, have never had any leadership training or development. All they're really going on is what they saw, what they experienced. So honestly, the gambit. And then there's the entrepreneur, and the entrepreneur is that guy or gal that's kind of alone in their business, and they're both leader and they're follower, and they're trying to play all those hats. And so there's definitely a place for them where I've really helped them to take on that role of that leader. In what it also helps them to be able to do is it helps them to be able to scale their business, so they're not doing everything, and looking to be able to bring some folks on so they can stay in that leadership role.
Right. And with, someone coming on and saying, hey, I need your help, what's kind of the process of bringing the leader out in that person? How do you
Yeah.
kind of work with them to make it happen?
Well, one thing is I start with something that I got from Seth Godin in his book Tribes. And he said, anybody can be a leader. There's not like a special personality that, and you and I both know there are some guys and gals out there that are really charismatic and they have a presence. And then there's the rest of us that just need to be able to learn how to develop leadership skills. And so that's the first part, is anybody can. And then the beginning process, whether they're a senior level executive or they're a solopreneur and they're trying to figure that out, I begin with identifying some of the mindset stuff that's going on that's actually messing with their ability to build a lead effectively, and just kind of what the mindset is, and are the stories that are going on inside their head, are those true or are those untrue, and really kind of sort that out. And that's a great beginning place, but no matter what a person's ambition is with the work we're doing together.
Yeah, and I love that we talked about it earlier, is kind of untruths that you tell yourself. I'm too tired to go to the gym. It's not true. You're not too tired. You have the energy. You just don't want to. And a lot of people, tell themselves, and that's just one example.
Absolutely, and we don't even realize that stuff's working against us. It could be something as simple as that, or it could be a message someone has gotten from society that says someone like me isn't good enough, smart enough, intelligent enough, experienced enough, whatever that is. So it can be just one that I've laid on myself, or one that I picked up from bad dad or bad society.
Yeah, yeah, no, it makes sense. And a lot of people tend to just not get better at things because they put things down because they're like, oh, it's not right for me, or I'm not good at this. Which nobody's going to be great because you're starting out. You got to practice, right? And you got to.
100%, 100%. And at the end of the day, I love that I started asking this question. I started asking, who says? Like, who says? So when I'd hear something in my own head, I'd go, who says, right? And then so if you tell me one of those, I'm going, well, whoever told you that, man? Who says you can't this, or who says you're to this or not enough that? So it's something we've got to counter all the time. We really do.
Awesome. And so I wanted to dig into one of the stories about Sheila. You helped a woman out. Tell us a little bit about the process from kind of start to finish when you first met her,
You
and how
got
you
it.
kind of changed your mindset to get her to where she's at today.
Yeah, what's really interesting, when you and I first started having that conversation, or since then, she's since reached out to me and just kind
Oh,
of did a, hey, I'm doing great. So it was just so absolutely cool. She's one of my favorite stories. And what happened was, she was someone that had taken over a family business. And then when that 2008, when the economy just wrecked stuff, well, her business went with it. And what also went with it was her spirit, like that part of her that just was undaunted by stuff, that really spun her. And this is a woman who is from New York, who had like this tough energy that didn't let stuff get to her. Well, she did let this get to her. And what it ended up doing is it kind of robbed her of her will. She let her fitness go. She was in a relationship that was stagnant with someone that just had no ambition, but she was settling. She'd lost her home. She was living in a place that she felt stifled by, in a job she couldn't stand. I mean, so we're kind of painting the picture, right?
right.
And so she heard me speak somewhere, and we struck a conversation, and she decided to go to work. And it didn't happen right away. We worked together for 90 days, and we worked a second, and then but as we were going along, things started really popping. And one of the most monumental times with her was her showing up late to one of our sessions. And we only had 90 minutes together. She shows up 45 minutes late. So now she's only got 45 minutes. And what I did was I just pointed out to her, I said, look at what you're doing. Your behavior right there is telling you that you don't want this,
Hmm.
that you're willing to settle right back into your life. And she got pissed off. She even started crying. And because she said, that's not me. And I go, well, stop behaving like that then. And that began a process. And she even said she just loved and missed that. And she would even use the effing, like, I just miss that effing honorary New York gal, right? That doesn't take crap from anybody. And she plugged back into that. And to kind of fast forward, she decided on a business that served a population that she absolutely loved. She ended up leaving that job. She built that business. And her end game in all of this was to do whatever is necessary for her to be able to get her, she wanted to become a citizen of Israel. She wanted to be able to go back and live with her children and her grandchildren. And that's what this business and all the work that she was doing, but she has had to get her belief in herself back again to do this. And so that communication that I received from her was from Israel, and she's kind of waving at me and saying, hey, life's great. How are you? Appreciate you again, because I'm living the life that I wanted to all along. And and it was a combination. Obviously, I needed to be the one to kind of smack her, but she also wanted something different. She wanted to be out from underneath that story that she was a failure, that she had let her family business go, that it somehow defined her. And once she was able to get out from under that and stop letting that define her, then she got to decide what did, and create her own truths, if you will. Like, stop the listening to that shit that ain't true, and be straight up and decide what the truth is. And she never stopped.
Yeah, it's awesome. And when you're training someone on their mindset, you're not just a leadership coach. You end up being, life coach, or probably relationship coach as well.
And you know what? And what's really interesting about that is it's impossible. There was a CEO I worked with, Mark, great man, he was doing great stuff in his business. And there was no way we could avoid, like, so how's the other parts of your life going, Mark? And then it was, so we needed to take a look at, how's your marriage going? How's your relationship with your kids going? How are you taking care of yourself outside of work? And what's its impact on you when you're not taking care of that stuff? How is it working against your forward movement with your people and your drive in your business? So yes, we do end up talking about all of it. And Michael, it's like with you and me, we're having this conversation.
Mhm.
If other parts of our life aren't right, it's going to show up here.
Yeah.
It just is. We can't, as much as I know in man world we can think we can compartmentalize. We
Right.
we certainly can sometimes, but the truth is, if my relationship with my number one, my wife, isn't right, nothing else is really right either. And if I'm not taking care of my health, other stuff isn't really right either. If I'm not keeping my stress low in my life, other stuff's not really right either. So it's impossible for it not to have all those elements in there.
Yeah, and you almost have to have, the same mindset going to dinner with, your girlfriend, and the same mindset going, to the computer to, get your emails done or whatever it might be,
You
'cause
bet.
it
You bet.
transfers over and back. If you're not happy at home, you're not gonna be happy at work, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's extremely important, and I love that you help people with, really finding out, number one, your untruths, because I love that, because I catch, ever since we talked about it, I catch myself all the time, like,
Uh,
you're not good at this, or you can't do this, and then I'm like, stop, wait. It's just like, that's the easy route. You got to take the hard route.
100%.
And
Yeah. 100%. And good for you for doing that too, man. Because it's a lot easier to go back to sleep. It really is. It's work, man. But
yep,
it's worth it. I mean, and there's a quote somewhere, I don't remember who said it, but it is going to be work, but it's worth it. It's worth it when the feel good feel when you follow through on something that you were going to talk yourself out of. It's so worth it.
yep, yeah. And we were talking about, when you have that full day and it goes by super fast, but you got way too much work done, and you're sitting on the couch and you're genuinely happy just because you earned that couch.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you should strive to have that feeling every day. I'm not the best. I did definitely have some cheat days, especially on Sundays when football's coming around, but
Oh,
try
yeah.
my best. Yeah,
But we also need to give ourselves permission for that too. I'm reading Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights, and he talks about earning his Saturdays. And that's exactly what you're talking about. It's like, did you kick ass this week, and did you earn your Saturday? Were you in integrity? Did you do what you say you were going to do? Did you do only what you wanted to do? Did you stay straight, right? And then you get to enjoy Sunday football and go, that's just part of how I decompress and get ready for the week, man.
exactly, exactly. Awesome. Well, we're coming up on time here. Is there anything else you would want the listeners to know about?
You know, yeah. Well, and this is just like a final message. I got nothing on anybody else. I really don't. I was fortunate that I had some mentors, some people that modeled, so I don't have any more smarts or any more ambition or any more anything. What I did was I just figured out a way to stop letting that historical stuff mess with me, because I would fall into it like anybody else. My family of origin wasn't the sweet spot of my life, right? So if I can do it, anybody can, as long as they've got someone around that can help them to identify where it is that they're working against themselves, so they can counter that. And so I guess the message is one of hope and belief and possibility. And I love that word possibility, because it allows anything. Probability leaves a lot of stuff out, but possibility, shit, nothing's impossible. So that's the piece I want to leave with folks, and that is just that, you know, wherever you're stuck, wherever you haven't, that's just up until now. Draw the line, moving forward, hook up with someone that can support you and getting this stuff right, so you can ring the bell before you leave the planet.
Absolutely. You got to go out there and fight, and you need people in your corner.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for listening, and thank you so much for coming on, Rob. You were excellent, and I hope you guys all have a great day.